Good morning, everyone. It's going to be warm. If you came here to watch a fat guy sweat, hang around. I'm going to do a great job. We're going to get started. It's going to be warm in here this morning, in all sincerity. And we'd like to keep this moving. We've got a nice program. We'll go briefly, and I think you'll enjoy it. But I got to say one thing. Wow, what a turnout. Thank you very much. For those that don't know, my name is Jim Rudgers, class of 67 from LeRoy High School, which makes this my 45th high school reunion. Hence, I need these glasses to read the rest of this stuff. I welcome you to the inaugural induction ceremony for the LeRoy Oatka Sports Hall of Fame, Inc. This morning, I represent the founders of this 501c3 charitable organization. The founders are 8 citizens who believe in the importance of athletics in our beautiful village, and that we should find a way to honor some of our top historic athletes now and in the future. I'm doing the best I can here. That's my sergeant of arms. Anybody want to argue with Paul, go outside. This group provided knowledge, business sense, and of course financial support so that this organization could be formed, this event could be produced, open to the public, and ensure that we have a second event in 2014. Thanks to all of them. They remain anonymous. I have a few administrative tasks, then we'll get to the honorees. On your seats, you should have a program. It lists the directors, which I'm not going to name all of them, but they're on there. Also on the back, a great number of people who helped produce this event today, and we give them our deepest thanks. Again, we won't name them all to keep this moving along. You also have a copy of the criteria that was used to select this august group here this morning. We use this selection process not only to define their athletics, but taking those values that they learned from the athletic field that had led them to exemplary lives after their illustrious careers. There's also nomination forms in the back that if you want to nominate someone for this group for the next event 2014. You can also do these online. Thanks to this gentleman over here, we have an excellent website. It's under LeRoyHallOfFame.com. It's excellent. I encourage you to go look at it. We will also have nomination forms at the town and village hall. There's also a lot of other information on the website. I should mention that. We have our list of bylaws so that you can understand how this is going to be run. Most importantly, we have fully deductible donations that you can do in the back. Wouldn't mind you giving us some money to help us out in the future. And these can be sent to care of Greek Whiting, 31 West Main Street, here in LeRoy. We'd appreciate that. Now for the reason we're here. To help us with this, we have a special guest MC today. From the playing fields and courts of Pembroke Central, actually, they actually beat us once in basketball. This guy was a point guard. He played with a guy named Hummer. I don't know what that's all about, but they actually beat us once. I don't know how that happened. He left there. He became one of the best sports broadcasters in all of Western New York, if not in New York State itself. Today, he's the news anchor on the NBC affiliate Channel 10. Wonderful guy, great friend of mine. Here's Rich Funke.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's nice to be with you. Some of you know that I've worked nights for the past 38 years. I get home around midnight and get to bed around 2 a.m. Kind of like Jim Rudgers. Only he's not working. You know, when he asked me to do this, the first thing I asked him was, what time is it? And he said 9:30. And I said, why the hell can't you have a dinner like everybody else? He said, because we have a tea time at LeRoy Country Club, and by the way, try to get it wrapped up by 11 or we'll be late. So I said, are you going into the Hall of Fame? And he said, no. And I said, well, that'll cut 20 minutes off of you right there. I am retiring at the end of the year. Maybe some of you know that. And I might as well announce right here that I've signed a deal with HBO. Thanks. It's no big deal. For another $10.95 a month, I got Showtime in the Playboy Channel. You know, for a guy who went to Pembroke, coming to LeRoy to help induct the first members of the Hall of Fame is special. Because the last time I was here for a sporting event was as an assistant football coach for Bain Johnson at Notre Dame. Don Santini was coaching LeRoy, and we left with people throwing stones at our bus. So this is a much better welcome. As a high school basketball player, I guarded Rudgers, which when he was younger wasn't that easy. He was bigger. Matter of fact, he's still bigger. But good jump shot. Can't jump now. I don't think any of us can jump now. But he was tough. When he was in high school, Rudgers was tough. He put 3 people in the hospital, and 2 of them in the maternity ward. This reminds me of our first sports banquet at Pembroke. At a big gym like this, and a lot of people. We had the football coach from Yale talking to us, Karn Kozel, and he was going through his whole bit about YALE. He's talking 20 minutes about Y for youth, and got on to 20 minutes A for academics, and L for leadership, and he was about to launch into E for excellence, and our tackle, Jerry Klutzbach, was down in front of him, and he had on his hands and knees, and he had his hands like this. He's looking up to the sky, and he looked down at him, and he said, "Son," he said, "are you praying that you'll go to Yale someday?" And he said, "No, I'm thanking God you're not from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology." We had a lot of farmers on our side of Genesee County. I remember our coach one time trying to teach us how to make quick decisions, and he called Klutzbach over, and he said, "Let's pretend there's a train coming this way on the tracks, and there's another train coming that way on the tracks, and they're heading right for each other." He said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "I'm going to go home and get my brother Pete." He said, "Why would you do that?" He says, "Because Pete's never seen no train wreck before either." That's our boys at Pembroke. Our coach was Bernie Fagan. And when I was a freshman, some of the guys up in the bleachers started chanting, "We want Funky. We want Funky," you know. So Bernie calmly walked over to me and he said, "Get your helmet." So I grabbed my helmet and ran to the sideline. He said, "Well, get up there." I said, "Up where?" He said, "Up there in the stands, because they want you a hell of a lot more than I do right now." I don't know where the time has gone. It seems like only yesterday that I was being chased out of the casino here in LeRoy. And now we're old, we don't get chased anymore at all. And we don't do a lot of chasing. I said to my wife of 43 years just the other day, I said, "You know, 43 years ago, we had a small apartment, a junky old car, and a little black and white TV, but I got to sleep with a beautiful brunette every night." I said, "Now we have a bigger house, a new car, big screen TV, and I don't think you're holding up your end of the bargain." And I missed that. But she's a very reasonable woman, despite the fact that she's from Batavia. She's a very reasonable woman, and she said I could go out and find myself a young brunette, and she'd also make sure I was back in that small apartment with a junky car, black and white TV. Matter of fact, I came home the other night, and she said, "Quick, pack a suitcase, I just won the lottery." I said, "That's great, summer clothes or winter clothes, where am I going?" She said, "I don't care as long as you're out by midnight." And there's finally one other story just about her before we hand out the awards here. It just seems to get tougher when you're older, and I think a lot of you can relate to that. She's always bugging me about money now, especially getting ready for retirement and everything. And we were in Walmart the other day, and I picked up a case of Jenny and threw it in the cart. And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "They're on sale. 24 cans of Jenny for only $10. She said, "Put them back, we can't afford them." So we kept shopping, and she picked up a $20 jar of face cream and put it in the cart. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "This is face cream. It makes me beautiful." I said, "So does 24 cans of Jenny." So it's great to be up here, up and about this morning to salute some of the greatest athletes to ever grace the halls of LeRoy High School, to spend some time together to reminisce, as I'm sure all of you have today, about those great days when life was simple the town was bustling and suiting up on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon meant the world to all of us. I'm honored to present the inaugural class of inductees into the Oatka Knights Hall of Fame.